Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
I will start this episode of Cut the Clutter with three things. One, a juicy story about Dawood Ibrahim. Second, about a piece of conventional wisdom, a metaphor of conventional wisdom. And third, a fact, and we'll go on from there. So the story is about me and Dawood Ibrahim. Don't laugh, fasten seat belts. I've had two conversations with Dawood Ibrahim as a reporter, nothing else. And fortunately, at least the days when I did this between 91 and 93, you didn't carry the risk of being hit by a sedition FIR just because you met someone like Dawood Ibrahim. Anyway, the first conversation is relevant. That was over the phone. 1991 summer, Dr. Manmohan Singh and Narasimha Rao reformed India's economy in a big way. One of the big things they did between 91 and 92 in a string of reforms was the ban on gold imports and to drop duties on gold imports. So essentially, they freed up the import of gold. Of course, there were still many restrictions over foreign exchange, etc. But those were also, in the course of time, loosened. What that did was, it immediately had an impact on the underworld. So Dawood Ibrahim was watching cricket someplace then. So I got across to him on the phone, courtesy my colleague then, Sheila Bhatt, who used to run the Gujarati edition of India Today. So this conversation may have been sometime between 91 and 92. I don't exactly have a date, but I think India Today magazine's archives have a line from that conversation. So when I called him, I said, what do you think? Dr. Manmohan Singh and Narasimha Rao have carried out this big change. They've opened up the import of gold. How does it affect your business? And he said to me, शेखर भाई देखिए ऐसे है कि हम तो देशभक्त हैं, हम तो nationalist हैं. And then he went on to say how whenever India plays, he puts a bet on India against anybody else. That besides the point. And he said that because I am a nationalist, I will say that what Dr. Manmohan Singh has done is a wonderful thing for India. He said, this has destroyed my business. My business was running on gold smuggling. This has finished my business. No more gold smuggling. So I have to think of something else. But I am an entrepreneur. I will find something else. And then we had I took the conversation forward a bit. And I said, but what comes into India is smuggling. So he said, no, but if I send it from Dubai, it is not smuggling, because export of gold or import of gold in Dubai is not illegal. It may be illegal in India, but now that the government has made it legal, not smuggling, the import, then what do I have to smuggle? There is no profit available to me. I will do something else. So that is the story. Second conversation I will tell you about sometime later. That was physical. That was shortly after the Bombay blasts. Nevertheless, what is the metaphor of conventional wisdom that I want to share with you? That is, it's an Americanism. When you find yourself in a hole, or when you have dug yourself into a hole, the first thing you must do is to stop digging. But governments never do that. Governments actually tend to do the opposite, because governments think they are all powerful, and to stop digging would mean admitting that what they were doing was wrong. So they dig even further and go deeper and deeper. So when one government stops digging, or maybe starts filling up the hole a little bit and rising out of it, at least getting its head out of it, that is something you say, thank you very much, keep doing more of it. So the third thing is the fact. The fact is that one nugget in this year's budget, which has not found much attention or much discussion, is the fact that Modi government, that Nirmala Sitharaman, the finance minister in this budget, has marginally reduced customs duties on gold imports. So what she's done is as follows. The duty on gold right now is 12.5% or was 12.5% until February 1. She reduced it to 7.5%. Now you might say 12.5%, what is the big deal? I pay 18%, 28% GST on things, and there is so much more customs duty on other things. But remember, this is gold. 1 kilo of gold is a lot of money, and 12.5% of 1 kilo of gold is an enormous amount of money. So she reduced the duty from 12.5 to 7.5. If she had left it at that, I would have said fantastic reform. It's a big step. She hasn't quite left it at that, while she's done it in a manner which is typical of Bharat Sarkar. They put money in one pocket of yours and take out of the others. So what she has done is, she's not taken all of it away from you. She's reduced the duty from 12.5% to 7.5%, but also imposed on it 2.5% as Agriculture Infrastructure Development Cess, AIDC. So still the net duty comes to 10%. 12.5 to 10, it may look like it's a small amount, but remember, you're looking at 2.5% of the price of gold. So it is a lot of money, and most of you might know the price of gold better than me, but I will also talk about that as we go along. Now, how did we get into this hole, and why has she done it? She's done it now because duties on gold have become counterproductive. Because duties on gold means that the business that Manmohan Singh and Narasimha Rao had finished for Dawood Ibrahim and his types has now come back. Because how does that business come back? When arbitrage is available. What is arbitrage? Arbitrage is of two kinds on smuggling of stuff like high value stuff like gold. One is the arbitrage of taxation. So 12.5% value difference between smuggled gold and legally imported gold is a lot of value. It's a huge arbitrage. This by itself can make smuggling a good business, and it did, and I will give you the data to show how it did. Second, what it does is that why is gold smuggled in such large quantities, and why was it smuggled in the past in such large quantities? That it funded all of India's underworld, a lot of India's corruption, bureaucratic corruption, customs corruption, judicial corruption, but also funded a lot of India's terrorism. That is because gold, you can pack large value in a small place or in a small weight. So gold is a sink for ill-gotten money. Gold is a sink for black money. Gold is a sink for money made from crime. Gold is a sink for all kinds of bad things and bad money. Now, the way to clean up gold was, one, to open its imports. Second, to reduce or withdraw all duties so that one margin was taken away. And third, it was to improve India's foreign exchange rules so people did not have to get into so much hawala. So the trade of hawala and smuggling of gold are linked. What happens is, somebody buys gold overseas, smuggles gold into India, you pay in rupee, that rupee is then taken out, converted into foreign exchange. So hawala operator gets his margins or her margins. On the way back, the smuggler gets his margins or her margins. So this is a kind of sort of perfect set of conditions, the perfect fertilizer, perfect bit of watering, perfect weather conditions for this crop to grow, this crop of really bad things. That is smuggling, mafias, underworld, terrorism, political corruption, judicial corruption, etc., etc., etc. This gold duty had brought it in. Now, once again, you can kill yourself by slow poisoning. So the metaphor I used earlier was digging yourself into a hole. So dig yourself a little hole. You think only your feet are in it. Next time you are up to your knees. Next time you are up to your waist. And at some point you are up to your ears. And then you say, what do? I can't breathe. And then either you dig some more, or you stop the digging, and then maybe fill your way or climb your way or crawl your way out of it. I am hoping that Modi government has started that process. So how did we get there is an important thing. So when all these bad things grow, then you have a kind of situation when India becomes a smuggler's or mafia paradise, especially the city of Mumbai, which has the glamour and the money, becomes that mafia paradise. So if I take you back to Mumbai of the 80s, for example, then, or even if you Google Mumbai of the 80s, just Google underworld dons of Mumbai, and you will find Vardarajan Mudaliar, Karim Lala, Haji Mastan, Arun Gowli, who by the way featured on Walk the Talk once. I will share that link with you. Chota Rajan, Yusuf Patel. Yusuf Patel was also known amongst other things as the high-rise king in Mumbai because he specialized in making money from getting illegal floor space index so you could build more in Mumbai. So, but the basis of the wealth of all of them, including some people who came a bit later, that is Abu Salim, Chota Shakil, Chota Rajan, the basis of all of their wealth, Dawood Ibrahim, definitely was gold smuggling. Now, Dr. Manmohan Singh finished it. The funny thing is, Dr. Manmohan Singh, in a way, also brought it back. And how? So this was going on beautifully. So you know how Government of India works and how the minds of our government work. They want to mend everything that is not broken. Or galti se, inadvertently, if they fix something that was wrong, somebody or the other is always itching to go back to bad old times. Now, they decided to go back to bad old times in 2012-13 when UPA was in power, when India's current account deficit was rising and it looked like India was short of dollars. So the word spread, why are we short of dollars? Because Indians are importing too much gold. So let's go after that. Now Indians were importing too much gold because Indians did not have so much faith in the management of the economy. India's inflation was going up, etc., etc. That is when India was fully reeling under the punch of Pranab Mukherjee's terrible budgets or Pranab Mukherjee's terrible leadership of the finance ministry. So 2012-13, you started going down the down escalator, or you started digging this hole under Chidambaram. So 2012, India put an ad valorem customs duty of 2% on gold imports. Until then, there was just a notional duty on gold, 300 rupees for 10 grams. That really is nothing, as you can figure out. That was a notional duty so that all gold import could be documented and people would then be compelled only to import with legitimate money. So from that notional duty, it went to 2% of gold's value. Then you see how quickly you dig once you start digging. 17 January 2012, 2% duty. 28 February 2012, that is within 6 weeks, within 5 weeks of 17 January, the budget comes, you increase it further to 4%. So 2% to 4% is double. But remember, it's on the base value of gold, which is very high. 4% of a kilo of gold is a lot of value. Then 21st January 2013, not even a year had passed after the second round of digging, that you make it 6%. So again, it goes up by 50%. So what's happened is, between 17 January 2012 to 21st January 2013, in 369 days, you have taken your excise duty on gold import from 0 to 2 to 4 to 6%. And that is when you are into the hole up to your waist. But what happens? You are still digging because it looks like you love to dig. So you dig and Modi government comes in, they don't stop, and the Congress government doesn't stop either before that. So 13th of August 2013, the same year again, because inflation is rising, people are worried, where do I put my money? More people are importing gold. So 13th August 2013, UPA government ups from 6% to 10%. Remember, a year and a half earlier, there was no duty. Now you have 10% duty within a year and a half, 2 to 4 to 6, and after 6, maybe you got a machine to dig yourself into a deeper hole. So 10%. At 10%, you are somewhere here into the hole. And then what does the NDA government do? So NDA government, instead of rolling it back, because they claim to be a reformist government, and because they claim that under them India's foreign exchange reserves were going so high, they actually further increase it. So 5th July 2019, they further dig themselves deeper into the ground at 12.5%, and that is when you are in that hole up to your ears or up to your forehead, and that's when the rethink starts. Now you see what happens and what causes this rethink. So first of all, I will give you the figures of gold imports into India. These are all official figures and you will see it on our screen also. Now if you look at the imports of gold in India, then you will see that financial year 2017, it is 780 tons. Financial year 2018, it's 955 tons. Financial year 2019, it's 983 tons. Financial year 2020, it is 720 tons. So what's happened is, once you've gone over 12.5%, you've crossed that limit where smuggling becomes a lot more profitable than imports. So what happens? Your imports come down and obviously your smuggling goes up, because in any case it's not as if we Indians are about to give up on buying gold. We have an enormous hunger and greed and craze for gold. Now you want to know how much of a craze India has for gold? India in private hands today is estimated to have 20,000 tons of gold. 20,000 tons of gold. For comparisons, this is more gold than what the central banks of America, all of Eurozone and China keep with themselves. And even now, it is considered that 1/4 of all imports in India are illegal. This wasn't the case between 1991 and 2012. And from then on, you've seen two trends. One, you've seen gold imports falling, particularly as the duty went higher, and also smuggling seizures increasing. Now, smuggling seizures increasing, normally we would think, oh, if smuggling seizures have increased, that means customs are doing a very good job, and that means that gold smuggling is down. No. Talk to anybody who's in the business of fighting narcotic smuggling, gold smuggling, smuggling of any bad things. They will tell you that seizures are directly proportional to the amount of smuggling going on. That as your seizures go up, they are indicating that smuggling is going up exponentially. So seizures is not a way to reducing or stopping smuggling. It may be a way of increasing the costs on smuggling. What that happens is, that is seen as merely friction in a well-running machine, and for friction, what do you need? You need grease. That grease is then bribes, and that's how the bribing of customs officers, police officers, then judges, etc. starts. And smuggling mafias also, they know the method. They know that customs fellows or DRI, etc., they are good people, but this is a well-known business. They have to be given some success. So, okay, अभी मैं 100 किलो लाऊंगा, तेरे को 5 किलो पकड़वा दूंगा. So you can also say 5 kilos of gold seized, and you can have pictures with gold bars there, and media can come and take pictures and say fantastic. So just as say in Kashmir they might policemen pose with pictures of weapons captured from terrorists, at your airports customs officers or DRI officers pose with pictures of bars of gold captured. But seizures rising means your smuggling is rising. Now you want me to tell you how this is rising? Between 2016-17 to 19-20, Parliament has been told that gold smuggling to India has risen 207%. Why do people smuggle? Because they can make this additional illegal money. And look at the record of seizures. In 2010-11, India's total gold smuggling seizures are 17 crores. Nothing, because there is no value in smuggling. Somebody might smuggle a little bit because you can buy in cash and bring it in, or maybe you got unlucky, you're wearing too much jewelry. So just 17 crore in a whole year, 10-11. In 11-12, it goes up to 42 crores. Again, very marginal increase. But next year, 12-13, it goes up to 107 crores. Why? Because that is the year in which duty has been imposed. Then duty is increased. So next year it goes up to 250 crores. And then it keeps on rising from there, to the extent that in 16-17 it goes up to 858 crores. In 2017-18, and then to 2019-20, it goes up by another 13%. So now you are looking at seizures worth more than 1,000 crores. So what was 17 crores is this much. What this tells you is that smuggling has gone up by that much more. In fact, it's now generally believed that the profit or the margin on illegal margin on 1 kilo of smuggled gold is at least 5 lakh rupees. That is just the price difference. Today, if you look at the spot price of gold in Delhi, it's 4,852 rupees per gram. overseas it's $58.17 per gram, which gives you a difference of 400 rupees per gram. That is besides the arbitrage you will make from being able to use cash overseas and sending your money out in hawala. So once again, not only is the government being denied revenue, but also this business is funding two mafias, a hawala mafia and a gold smuggling mafia. Usually it's the same mafia doing both things together. So that is where we are. That's the reason we say that we had dug ourselves into this hole up to here, because now official gold imports were coming down into FY20. They were 720 kilos from 983 the previous year, because BJP government added another 2.5%. So they tipped the scales. Next year was only 222 crores, but that's also the pandemic year. So you expect this year's demand to be higher because people are getting married, people will get married, also people will buy more gold. So this will go up further. So what's happening is your official imports are coming down. So you say, fantastic, my imports are down, my trade deficit is improving. But what will happen is, while your trade deficit improves, a lot more of your ill-gotten money or your people's ill-gotten money will get into hawala, funding this purchase of gold, which will come in from outside. So that is something we hope that this year's change is an indication of an ongoing reform, that next year again we'll see 2% or maybe 6 months from now, because if you could raise it every few months, you can also cut it every few months. Meanwhile, you've got yourself into a further complication that I'm not right now equipped, I don't have the knowledge to talk about. That's because the Reserve Bank of India has been selling gold bonds to people of India. Those gold bonds will now lose value because with the reduction of these duties, the price of gold goes down. So that is what we mean when we say, when you start with one big mistake, trying to settle an immediate problem, you usually end up into a series of mistakes, and that mistake spiral or that blunder spiral then gets you into the kind of mess that India is right now. So I started with this story. I'll conclude this with an old Hindi film song, from a 1959 film called Kali Topi, Black Cap, Lal Rumal, Red Scarf. Not the latter day Mithun Chakravarti nonsense. This is the 1959 film. It was sung by Lata Mangeshkar, and it goes something like, Na to dard gaya, na dawa hi mili, maine dhoond ke dekha zamana. That neither did my pain go or my headache go, nor did I find the right medicine. I searched the whole world. It's a sad song, but that is the story of many of Government of India's experiments with nonsense. Because when you find that something did not work, it was bad, you reverse it as a reform and you reverse it back. What else can I say about that, except I can conclude this with a little bit of trivia. This film, Kali Topi Lal Rumal, the song is sung by an actor called Shakila, not very well known now, but she was also Devanand star in Arpar and CID. Those are cult classics of the 50s. The lyrics were written by Majroor Sultanpuri. The music was Chitragupt's, and the trivia is that Shakila, although she's not very well known, her sister was married to a much more famous film actor whose name is familiar even now, but not if I tell you his real name. His real name was Badruddin Jamaluddin Qazi. So stumped. So I will tell you his film name. His film name was Johnny Walker, the comedian. His wife Noor was the sister of Shakila.